Hello, everyone. This is author, motivational speaker, and dating coach Matthew C. Horne. And I bring you a video tonight titled Sex Symbol Men Do Not Explain Themselves or Their Movements. It's brought to you by my books, How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life, in addition to How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. They're both available at my website, www.matthewchorne.com. Get your copies. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and to continue to push with the algorithm so I can continue to bring you these elevated messages. But as always, let's get right to it. Sex symbol men do not explain themselves or their movements. And let me just go ahead and set the tone for this, because the sex symbol man is on such a completely different plane of reality than any other man, and you'll understand the importance of any other man once I tell the story after this. But there are worlds that were not meant to collide when you have a sex symbol man, a man who has made a decision to be no one other than his authentic self. And every other man, we can call that the player, the man who needs to be any man he needs to be to get women. That man has made a declaration within himself that he'll be any man that he needs to be in order to get his next piece of poopy. And so the worlds are completely apart. And like I said in my video, the player versus the sex symbol, that man is willing to do anything that he needs to do, the player, to get into the space of the woman. And the sex symbol, the women just want him. They're just into him. And it's just a very stark contrast. And the worlds just don't belong. Like, there's going to be conflict. There's going to be challenges, from that any other man to that sex symbol. There's going to be a lack of understanding of why he moves the way that he moves. And that sex symbol will eventually get to a point where he just gets tired of explaining himself, because he has to keep explaining himself, because his words are falling on deaf ears, because he's talking to a man who's in a completely different realm of reality than he is. And so, how does this look, in terms of everyday life? And I can remember um, there was a guy I used to hang out with. He asked to be around me. He was getting out of a marriage and getting back into the field, and we were, roughly the same age. And he knew I did the dating coaching and all that stuff, man. So he asked to hang out with me, and I said okay, because if you listen to me enough, I'm a solo dude, man. And we were hanging out, and he began to see some things that he had never seen before, and he didn't quite understand. And so there was one particular instance where him and I were together, and we met a group of chicks, and it was this one girl. Like, I got her number, and that was that. And her and I, we had text a little bit afterwards, and then one day I texted her, and she said, "Who is this?" And my response to her was, "Don't worry about it," because I had a text thread. Meaning, I had a history of our correspondence and conversation. So when she said, "Who is this?" she deleted the text thread, and she didn't have my number saved, which is an indicator that she's probably not that interested. So when she asked me, "Who is this?" there was no point in me reinserting myself into that conversation. That's why I just told her straight up, "Don't worry about it." And so the next time me and this guy were hanging out, not too long after we got to the spot, the girl rolled right up on me. She's just like, "Oh, I figured out who you were, and most guys just would have told me who they are and who they were and all this other stuff." And I was just like, "Man, all right, I'm not them." And she didn't necessarily make a scene, but she was visibly upset that she couldn't bring me into submission. And this particular guy, he gave me a nickname. He called me -12 because of stuff like that. And when you're around guys who aren't on that level of attractiveness, then what happens is that they're always going to challenge you. Why? I would have done such and such. Why did you do that? And there just wasn't a level of understanding of why I did what I did, which had to put me in position to once again explain my movements, explain myself, explain my movements. And it gets pointless because you all are in two completely different realms of reality, different spectrums of reality. But that was a compliment that the gentleman gave me when he called me -12. And eventually he came to understand why I moved the way I moved. But it was a lot of explaining myself in the process. And that's what I'm trying to get across to you. If you've done some work on yourself and you separated from the realm of the average man, that notice she said any other man would have, okay? If you graduated from being any other man and you've accepted yourself and everything that you authentically offer to the world, you become the sex symbol. Then there's no need to be in the space and the atmosphere of men who are going to challenge you. It's a luxury for a quote unquote regular man, a player, to be in the space of a sex symbol because he's going to see things he's never seen before. And if he's humble enough, he can understand the thought process behind what allowed him to see what he has not witnessed before. But then that ego comes in. A man can learn from you. A man can have the luxury of seeing some things that he's never seen before in terms of the ease in which sex symbol gets women, the thought process behind it. But then what happens, that serpent always enters the equation. Even if someone asks to be around you, the next thing you know, they're going to begin to challenge you. Why? Because of ego. Why? Because they can't quickly recreate your experiences. And that's where the curiosity turns to disdain and hate. They're curious about how you do it, but when they find out the reality of what's behind how you do it, then there comes the disdain and the hate. And let me explain why. There's there's a level of work that a man has to do in himself to become a sex symbol. See, the average man, any other guy, like the girl said in the story, any other guy is a man who is into women. The sex symbol is into himself. And since he's into himself, he's only himself. And if he's only himself, he's only dealing with women that are into him because he's showing up as him, the same consistent man every day, because he's accepted himself and he celebrates himself. When he explored himself, he loved the things that he found about himself. He naturally, innately wanted to be no one other than himself. And so he loved the things that he found out about himself so much, he made them better. He worked on those things and he gave life his best. And so he's into himself. He's fully aware of who he is and who the majority of men are. And he understands that if the woman can't see him in comparison to the other men that she regularly encounters and deals with, if she doesn't revere him above those men, then she shouldn't be in this space. That's why that sex symbol man is into himself. And he's only dealing with women who are into him. But the average man is any other man, and he's into women. So he'll be any man that he needs to be in order to get that next piece of poofy. And that's where the conflict is. And there's an amount of work that goes into becoming a sex symbol. And when the player or any other guy, any other man gets into the space of the sex symbol, he's going to see levels of extreme discipline. He's going to see levels of extreme discipline. But see, the discipline, and that's why I say the admiration and the curiosity turns to disdain and hate. Because the change that they want to experience, they want to go from having their experiences to your experiences, but it takes time. And if it doesn't happen quick enough for them, then that's when they're going to turn on you. And how do they turn on you? They question your every move. They question your every move because that takes time to make that kind of transition. That takes time. Meaning you have to stand in the gap and face yourself. You have to say, okay, I did things a certain way once upon a time, but there's a new way that I want to go through the world and function because I've been exposed to it. So you get in that gap and you have to abandon the old way of doing things and begin to exert the level of discipline to get the new experiences that you see right in front of your face, but you haven't accessed them yet. That's transitioning into the sexy, attractive man, transitioning into the sex. And you have to face your old self and move towards your new self until your new self pervades you and has more territory in you than your old self. That's when you become a new man. But these men want to become new men without putting in the work. They don't have the discipline. They don't have the fortitude. They don't have the wherewithal. They don't have the patience that it takes to become you. And so they naturally turn on you. Because that's a great place to come to as a man when you were once into women and you discover so much about yourself that you're now into yourself. That's the ultimate graduation into masculinity right there. That ensures that you're not going to be anyone other than yourself because you discovered the best parts of yourself because you abandoned the worst parts of yourself. That's your graduation into masculinity. And that gives you an eye that you see things that you can never unsee. But instead of standing in that gap, all these men went to shortcuts, and the main shortcut is getting around you, thinking it's going to rub off on them like some sort of osmosis, and then it doesn't happen that way. And they begin to resent you, and they're always challenging you, and the greatest thing that they see is women offer themselves to you within minutes and seconds of meeting you. They have a courtside view of that, courtside seat. And that's what baffles them the most. That's what gets them the most curious, but it's also what garners the most hate and disdain towards you. Because if they can't recreate that, then naturally hate and disdain is going to develop. Because now they're exposed. You frustrate them. Your presence frustrates them. And when I say frustrates them, because they've been exposed to something that they've never seen before. They didn't know this was possible, that you don't have to take women on dates. They didn't know it was possible that women can take one look at you, and you've done so much work before you left the house. You've worked on yourself to such a degree that women come up to you and offer themselves to you, and you disappear. They didn't know this type of thing exists. And that's where the hate and the disdain comes, because they want to recreate that, but they aren't willing to go through the process. So they try to get close to you, and then they get close to you long enough, they start thinking that they are you. Even though they're not having the experiences that you're having, they convince themselves that they are you. And then that's when they start challenging you. Oh, do things this way. Because they're not having the experiences that you have. And seeing you continuously have the experiences that you have frustrates the hell out of them, because they have to face themselves. They have to face themselves in frustration, because they're not willing to face themselves in the gap of abandoning the old man and taking the necessary measures and steps to become the new man. That's what their frustration is. And they want you to be like them. Once they figure out that they can't be like you, then they want you to be like them. That's why they challenge you. That's why you're always explaining yourself and your movements to these guys, because they want you to be like them. And in being like them, their goal in challenging you is so that you abandon the mental perception that you have of yourself that allows you to be you. I'll say it again. Their goal in challenging you is that you abandon the mental perception that you have of yourself that allows you to be you. Because they don't want you to be you. It's too uncomfortable to be around you being you. They're too far away from being a man like you. So that's what the challenges are. And they try to undermine the things that they see happen right in front of their face. They go as far as to try to act like this stuff doesn't even happen, even though they see it on a regular basis. You can hear the frustration in their tone. When you're on the phone with one of your boys, or you're in person with one of your boys, and they found out that you had sex with another girl, they're like, "Oh, you ain't taking on no date?" You're like, "Hell no, I ain't taking on no date." And then they're like, another one. You can just see their energy. You can just see them begin to just unravel, because they know the things that they tell you that they have to do to get pussy, and they know the things that they also don't tell you that they have to do to get pussy. And so once they see a man who consistently gets women to offer themselves to him sexually without enacting any other steps or measures in order to get with that woman in a sexual manner, it frustrates the hell out of them, because it exposes the hell out of them. They're accustomed to begging for pussy, and they want you to beg for pussy too. They want you to be like them, because it's too much work for them to become like you. And what is begging for pussy? That means that you're taking any additional step to get what you want from a woman. That's begging. Begging is going past the first sign of resistance. And that's where you get the most pushback, and where men will question you the most. It's because you will leave disrespectful pussy on the table, even if you already had sex with her. They wake up thinking of the every other man guy. He wakes up thinking about where his next piece of pussy is going to come from. And the sex symbol man is, he wakes up and he goes through life as himself. He's more concerned with his purpose and, forwarding and expanding his own greatness. And by virtue of doing that, women want to be with him. They're in two completely different worlds. And that's why the worlds do not belong with one another. And like I said in my previous video, the sex symbol versus the player, or the player versus the sex symbol. Those worlds are completely apart. And the sex symbol has such an expanded awareness of women and life that he will never seek out a man who does not have an expanded level of awareness like him to hang out with. So what does that manifest into? That manifests into the player that every other man, any other man, he always seeks out the sex symbol. He always seeks that man out because that man is intriguing, because that man represents truth and full masculinity. But when they get in that man's space, they see the discipline it takes, and he becomes a frustrating uh, picture of what he should be, but doesn't have the internal instinct, the drive, the discipline, the self awareness to become. And that's why you're always going to be in conflict. That's why you hear me say it repeatedly. The sex symbol man, the sexy attractive man, he's better off by himself. You might have one or two friends that aren't on your level of attractiveness, and you all just have a different aura and thing going about your life. And it's cool because you all have accepted yourself as individuals. Maybe you can hang out with someone like that because they're not going to be challenging you. They accept who they are and they acknowledge who you are. And there's no disdain because they're comfortable in their own skin. But the average man that you come across is not going to be comfortable in his own skin. And that's why he's into women. And women are into him because he doesn't even know who he is. He hasn't begun to take a journey into self to discover the best thing that he has to offer, not just to women, but to the world. He has no clue who he is. And the only way to see a man consistently get everything that he wants from women and see the best sides of women is for him to show up as himself and give the best parts of himself to life every day. You get the best parts of women when you give the best parts of yourself to life. And that only comes about when you take a deep dive in yourself and you discover the best things about yourself. See, the sex symbol is concerned with all things internal. The player, that any other guy, is concerned with all things external. Shapeshifter, manipulator, whoever he needs to be. And those two worlds don't belong. And that's why after you get challenged so much from these guys, you get to a point where you just walk away from them completely, or there's going to be an altercation because they can't stand to be in the space of a man who is a representation of everything that they told themselves that they were, but they're actually not. There's a clash coming. But the precursor to the clash, they're challenging you for no reason. They see things happening. They see women repeatedly offer themselves to you. Then these guys try to act like they're having the same experiences as you, but you can see right through it. And you call them out on it. Like, no, it didn't go down. Oh, you're trying to compare your situation to mine. No, it didn't go down that way. You know it. You catch them in lies all the time because they're more interested in selling a persona than becoming a solid man that's a representation of living his truth. The two worlds do not belong together. So the sex symbol man in no way, shape, or form explains himself or his movements. It just leads to frustration. You're frustrated because you're tired of explaining yourself. They're frustrated because they don't have the discipline that it takes to become you. You just don't belong together. You don't belong in each other's space. You keep it cool, high and by, but by and large, you all are too far on the spectrum opposite. This has been Matthew C. Horne, author, motivational speaker, and dating coach. Bring you a video titled, Sex Symbol Men Do Not Explain Themselves or Their Movements. It's brought to you by my books, How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life, in addition to How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. They're both available at my website, www.matthewchorne.com. Get your copies. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and to continue to push me with the algorithm so I can continue to bring you these elevated messages. And I hear you all in the comments. You all want me to make videos on particular topics. Those are called custom videos. If you want me to make a custom video on a particular topic that you would like me to make a video on, you make a donation to my PayPal and my Cash App information that's in my video description of $150 or more. In the note feature on PayPal or Cash App that appears before you complete your donation, you put the title of the video that you want me to make in the note feature, and then you complete your donation, okay? I'll have your video on my channel in 24 hours or less after you make your donation and complete it. Also, if you have a more nuanced and detailed topic that you want me to make a video on, you make your $150 more donation to my PayPal and my Cash App information that's in my video description. You bypass the note feature and you complete the donation, and then you email me at matt@matthewchorne.com with your more nuanced and detailed description of who you want to make your video on. And once again, your video will be on my channel in 24 hours or less. If you've been inspired, if you've been enlightened, you have a deeper understanding of the game, and you feel like you are more elevated for having encountered my message in this video, I want you to make a donation to my PayPal or my Cash App information that's in my video description. I never tell you what to donate. Just donate according to how you've been impacted. I never take a donation lightly because your donations continue to keep me in place to bring you this elevated game. All right. So keep me here and I'll keep giving you the best game in the game. It's really that simple. If you're in need of coaching, if you have different challenges, frustrations, circular movements, and just things that you've been unable to overcome in the dating space with women, then I want you to reach out to me because I have your breakthroughs. Okay. Reach out to me for a coaching session. I can get you past any experience, any consistent circular movements that you've been having with women that are leading to frustration. I can get you to the other side of the breakthrough where you don't have those experiences anymore. You only have the ideal experiences that you see within. Okay, if you're in need of coaching, email me at matthewchorne.com. Leave coaching in the subject matter of the email. In the body of the email, you leave your name, your phone number, whatever issue that you're facing in the dating space. I'll do an assessment, email you back with the terms of the coaching. Once you accept the terms, we'll set a date and time. Coaching will commence. Very simple. Give me 1 hour of your life. I promise you, you're going to get a breakthrough. I'm also including a monthly coaching tier now. If you would like to undertake 1 month of coaching with me, and what that looks like is 3 coaching calls per week. I'm going to do an assessment of where you are, where you want to be, and we're going to aggressively attack this over the course of a month. You will get a breakthrough, okay? And just email me the same way, matt@matthewchorne.com. Leave subject matter coaching, coaching in the subject matter, and in the body of the email, just let me know that you're interested in 1 month of coaching. And you leave your name, your phone number, and whatever issues that you're facing in the dating space, and I'll get back in contact with you. We'll set up the coaching. Last, also in terms of coaching, I still am looking for the remaining slots to be filled for the 5 individuals who want to take a year-long coaching journey with me as well. A year-long coaching journey with me looks like 3 coaching calls per week minimum. I'm going to do an assessment of exactly where you are and where you want to be in the dating space. And I'm going to create custom coaching and curriculum just for you. No, none of the 5 individuals are going to get the same exact coaching or curriculum because no 2 individuals are in the same place in life. So I'm also going to allow you to have 24-hour access to me, meaning that if we're in between coaching and you have an immediate situation that you need help with, you can reach out to me. I don't care if you're on a date, you meet a girl that's losing interest, or you're a girl that you're really interested in, whatever the situation is, and there's something in front of you that you need immediate wisdom and guidance for, you can call me. Reach out to me, email me, text me. I'm going to be yours for a year. That's why I can only take on 5 people. A lot of bandwidth I'm giving. Also, I want to meet up with every person in person as well, at least once. No matter where you are in the world, we'll go out together. We'll bar, club, lounge, whatever we have to do, meet women. I'll coach you in person. It's going to be nothing like this. This is an amazing, very personable space, and I'm yours for an entire year. Imagine how different your life is going to look with someone like me in your corner, giving you that game for a year. All right. If you're interested in taking a year-long coaching journey with me, email me at matt@matthewchorne.com. In the subject matter of the email, you leave mentorship. In the body of the email, you leave your name, your phone number, and just tell me where you are in life and in the dating space and where you want to be. I'll do an assessment, and I'm not going to email you back. I'm going to call you, and we're going to get on the phone and determine if we're a good fit to work with one another over the course of a year. All right, so reach out to me for your coaching. Lastly, my dating coach community on the school platform, I want everyone to sign up. In my dating coach community, you're going to get exclusive weekly videos that are not on YouTube. They're just for the community. I allow members of the community to give me topics to make videos on so they get their custom videos put in the community for everyone to see. In addition to that, every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, there's a live. For the members of the community, I do a monologue on a particular topic. The game is extremely heavy. And then the members of the community who are on the live can dialogue back and forth with me about the monologue topic. After we're done with that, I'm yours for an hour. You can ask me anything you want to ask me about the dating space, life, just anything for an hour. I'm your dating coach for an hour once a week. So you get exclusive content that's archived, and you get these lives where you can talk to me in person once a week. It gets no better than that. And every live that we make is archived as well. So you can join my community right now. You can binge watch all of the dozens of videos that are there, the lives, the custom content. And then you can also get right on that live with me Monday night Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. and get your questions answered in person. There's nothing like it. Okay. So the link to sign up for my dating coach community on the school platform, the Matthew C. Horne Dating Coach Community, is in my video description. I want everyone to click that link and sign up. Okay. It's a very valuable space, a very affordable monthly membership, and a place where breakthroughs are just the norm. And thank you all for spending some time with me tonight. Sex symbol men do not explain themselves or their movements. There's always going to be some sort of man that wants you to come and beg for pussy just like he does, because he doesn't have the discipline to become a man that women are into. There's a certain level of consistency and discipline that it takes to discover yourself so much that you're into yourself. And you're only going to deal with women that are into you. That is a foreign concept to the average man. That's why I told the story. She said, any other man would have just told me who he was. And so, as a sex symbol man, you're constantly encountering any other man. Any other man is constantly questioning you. And it gets to a frustrating point where they figure out they can't become you, but they're seeing you have experiences that they want to have that they're never going to have. And then you're tired of explaining yourself. Don't explain yourself to anyone. Continue to be yourself, explore yourself, and give the best of yourself. And only go in spaces that are a true reflection of yourself, where there's receptivity and acknowledgement of yourself. I'll see you all soon.